This is the big one. This is the Alliance tour. This is right where they're making the RV.
We're really excited about this. It's always cool to know where you come from. So learning where our RV comes from and how they put it together is pretty special. So let's go check this one out.
Oh yes,
The CEO celebrity. There's currently 6 buildings on premises right now. Number 7 will be finished December, January, and then building number 8 behind that will be quite a bit bigger. So this building right here is 130,000 square feet. Currently we're building Valor toy haulers inside here, and then we're going to take you to the Paradigm factory. As you guys may know, we design our own chassis. Lippert builds them for us because they specialize in that type of stuff. So what you see right here is basically a raw chassis that comes from Lippert. We put it kind of on these little dolly things right here. As you can tell, there's no real axles on it yet. It's just sitting on this dolly. So what happens is they come inside here, we set them down, and our team gets ready for it. So just to let you guys know, these factories are typically about 15 feet taller than any other manufacturer out there. And that's because it does a couple of things. Number one, it brings in more natural light. As you guys see all the way around, there's windows all the way around. It also allows us for scaffolding to have 2 stories inside here. So we can do more cabinet shops and less movement of parts out there. It's also better for our employees. Many times the guys that work at these plants have worked in the RV industry, and there's injuries that happen out there. And so we do a lot of things to try to prevent injuries. It also allows us to keep a lot of employees. So people always talk about labor force is pretty tough. We typically don't have a problem with labor force. Our biggest issues with labor force is training them to the way we want things done. And then what happens is you'll go on a chassis flip machine. So we have one crane right inside there, and there's another crane somewhere around here that attaches to the chassis. There's another one right here. Lower inside there. It will grab onto the back of the chassis. It's a chassis flip machine in the front of it. It'll lift the chassis up and flip it over. What that does, it allows our team to grab these with the crane right here, these axles, and set it right on top of it and torque everything down. Now most manufacturers, these guys do it from the bottom up. So you can imagine the axles are sitting there and the chassis up underneath it, and these guys are laying on the floor, laying on dollies. They're in crooked positions, hurting themselves, trying to torque things down. So we try to eliminate it. So a lot of the guys from the chassis side of the industry like to work here because it's better for their backs. Most of the times we know that customers walk inside of an RV and they fall in love with either a floor plan or the way it looks. To us, we know that a lot of RVs look amazing these days. I mean, even some of the best brands out there, some of the worst brands out there, they all look amazing. So we spend a ton of time on foundation for all the things that customers don't go look for. Most of the times people aren't looking at the chassis. See a chassis, they think it's sufficient enough. And we know that it's not. We know as manufacturers, these are the issues they have over long periods of time. So we really try to beef up a lot of these things inside here. Starting from, like you said, just the steel cage in your water tanks, from our chassis to our leaf rings to our suspension system. And all these, whether you guys know it or not, affect tires, which most commonly is the customer's end result, is how do we get better tires? Better tires don't always solve tire issues. Sometimes your chassis flexed, sometimes your spring hangers are bent, many times your leaf springs are flattened out, many times your suspension's worn out, or many times you're just tricked because you bought an RV that had G-rated tires, but no one told you there was at least rated G-rated tires in the RV industry. So we go ahead and try to spend all of our time right here to educate the customers and our dealers, and the customers actually really educated us, saying what they really want is building on the strongest foundation. about every 4 stations, there's a separate QC team
Okay.
that goes through those departments, and they put tape on something. So many times they'll have them fix it before it goes to the next station, but in the event that they don't, when it gets farther down. So what would happen is that the guys at the end, would sit there and say, they go, hey, what happened to this? And they go, well, the guys back here said, well, it's perfect when it left here. So it allows them to not put blame on somebody else. We can say, oh, this happened in the first quarter of the line, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth. And then obviously at the very end, there's a QC process after that too.
Yep.
So about every four spots inside the lane, there is a QC.
Okay.
So, yep, and then we monitor it by tape, or the only manufacturer does a separate tape thing also. So when you see different tapes, it means different things out here, which nobody else does, which is really cool because nobody ever admits to it when they did it, right? So it's a way to kind of handle them. At our lamination facility, we build walls all day long, obviously, and here they get craned inside here. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you guys this is a couple of things. If you've ever been to a manufacturing facility, the walls look similar to this, but typically every single thing this component on the trailer is routed out. Well, if you'll notice on ours, the slide outs are not completely routed out. And the reason why is just like everything else, fiberglass comes in sheets inside there, and they have color dyes. Even though they're supposed to be identical, they're not always. And by not routing them out at this point, we rate right before we set up on our wall, and we finish the route out. We take that route out and we number it so it matches the same trailer. So no matter what, that piece of fiberglass is going to end up on this trailer. Most manufacturers don't do that.
22 products we switched over with using Asdel not only in the exterior walls but in the interior walls as well. Just with Luan wood prices skyrocketing, it was kind of hand in hand. Just with the pricing, we thought it was well worth it to use a Luan wood free wall. So all are going to be using the Asdel material.
You can see kind of that yellow orangish machine right there. That's basically a cap set right there. So it's got all the suction materials on there. That grabs a cap one at a time. One guy controls it. There's no pressure on the cap, not on anybody else, and he sets it on perfectly so there's no stress cracks inside there. And then he starts to secure it all the way down. So only taking one employee to install a cap compared to 4 or 5 as most manufacturers.
That's cool.
So, so they're actually triple insulated. They have the spun fiberglass as you guys see right here, the astrofoil material, and then the PVC roof, and then we'll set the front cap on it. From the PVC material, they do not require any conditioning or any maintenance of it. Obviously seals are different. Seals are not a roof material. Seals is basically a seal from water, so you always check those. But yeah, they don't require anything from me.
All of our slide out boxes are going to be built parallel with the units. So for this unit, all the slide out boxes are directly behind it, and they're getting pushed all the way to this next few steps where we're going to install all the slide out boxes.
To put them all up and level them all out and install them right in there for you. So again, not somebody lifting them up, pushing them in inside there, and not a big forklift that's being driven in. It's a handheld one where basically it lifts up and does everything for them right inside here. If you guys could see, graphics are installed at many different components inside here, so not just all at the end. So it kind of makes it more efficient that way as we could add in certain pieces.
I love that they just push it down the line and work on the next thing. push it down the line, work on the next thing until it's totally built. I mean, it's just so smart.
Everywhere, in every single factory we have basically the sign, we call it, where it has our sign here of what we do, relentless improvement. So we're always, as you guys know, trying to improve, whether it be with our customer relations, our dealer relations, our vendor relations, also our product out there. So I know you guys don't see it, but internally we're always keep a running list of the things that we show up most commonly in warranty, and every single time we run right back out to the factory and see if we fixed it or not, or see if we have to train a new employee or move that employee or whatever it may be. Devoted to our relationships obviously goes right hand in hand with it. Most manufacturers try to strong arm dealers or components they're using out there, and we're not. We're really trying to do something different and be more of a team player. You guys saw a lot of vendors at our vendor area. I mean, it's just a rally, and all those vendors are there, which is pretty awesome. You don't find that at an RV show, and obviously customer obsessed. And as you guys know, there's a couple more factories back here. As you guys see, they're very similar in looking, try to make all continuous. If you've ever been in your manufacturing facility, most manufacturers have another building facility 1, 2, 5, 17 miles away. And we've all worked for the manufacturers out there. We know that we do not check those plants, typically because they're farther away. So we most commonly check the plants that are closest to where our home offices are. So everything for us has to be on campus. It's a great way for us to try to keep quality control in line and don't have an excuse of why we haven't seen it. Like I said, I've been doing it for many years. Coley also ran other companies out there and knows what it's like. So everything is on campus for us. So basically, just one golf cart ride down this road gets us to everything we need to do right away, every single all day.